Caitlin Clark started. Can some folks stop complaining now? As I've been saying, it doesn't matter whether Caitlin Clark starts or comes off the bench. She's playing plenty of minutes. Team USA is experimenting, developing chemistry, and blowing everybody out. And guess what? Caitlin Clark leads Team USA in points, assists, and plus minus. So
Caitlin Clark started, and somehow that simple roster decision turned into the most debated topic in women's basketball. But here's what actually matters. While people argued about starting lineups and minutes distribution, Clark quietly did something that should end the conversation entirely. She's leading Team USA in 3 categories that tell you everything you need to know about her impact.
To be honest, and I know it's not most people, but like, come on, y'all. Yeah, she started the game with Chelsea Gray, which isn't a great fit necessarily, but you want to see how it looks. By the way, Caitlin needs to get better off the ball. Like, I know that was a thing with Stephanie White last year. She is amazing, unbelievable, transcendent on the ball. You can go to that at any time. But what better way for her to get better off the ball than with Team USA, with other stars? Move without the ball. You never want anybody to be, develop James Harden habits off the ball, or even Luka at times off the ball. Move without the ball.
That complaint about off-ball development, that's not criticism. That's actually the smartest coaching decision Nate Tibbetts could make. Because here's what people miss. Caitlin Clark is already transcendent with the ball in her hands. Iowa proved that. The Fever's offense proved that. Nobody questions her on-ball dominance anymore. But you know what separates good players from championship players? The ability to impact winning when someone else is running the offense. And right now, with Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, and Jackie Young handling the ball, Clark is getting forced reps in the one area where she can still improve. This isn't about limiting her. This is about building the complete player that Stephanie White envisioned back in Indiana.
And all that, Nate Tibbetts really laid into them. He told him, F all that ish, put it to the side, but you got to have your body language under control, and you got to, treat each other with a certain level of respect. I don't know what happened out on the floor. Get it together, basically, he said. Then that next team that came in really did well. Ryan Howard was on a heater in this one. Ryan Howard has had several shifts, especially at the first game of the tournament, and then here in this one as well, where she's really shot the ball well, and she did.
Now that moment right there tells you everything about how this team operates. Nate Tibbetts didn't sugarcoat it. He called out the body language, the lack of respect, the disconnect that showed up in that sluggish start. And notice what happened immediately after. The next unit that came in dominated. Ryan Howard caught fire. The defense locked in. The ball movement looked completely different. That's not coincidence. That's a coaching staff that knows exactly how to manage egos and refocus a star-laden roster that's playing back-to-back games against inferior competition. Because here's the challenge with Team USA. You're not playing for survival. You're blowing out every opponent by 30 points. The real battle is maintaining focus, developing chemistry, and keeping everyone engaged when the competition doesn't require your best effort.
Chelsea Gray found her. Chelsea Gray is the only one I think who started every game. There's that seniority for you a little bit, but you can see Chelsea gets the ball from Jackie Young, dumps it down inside. Angel Reese with the bucket. And Angel Reese had some really good shifts early in the contest. Team USA starts to pull away, as they've done in every single one of these games. The competition is just not good enough. We'll see, eventually they got Spain, which is the last game, I think, of this qualifying run. France should see down the line. But in this one, it was never really going to be a...
Watch Angel Reese in these games. She's not just filling a roster spot. She's making legitimate contributions, especially in those early shifts when Team USA needs energy and physicality. Chelsea Gray found her repeatedly in the post, and Reese converted. But here's what makes this Team USA roster construction so smart. They're not asking Angel Reese to be Caitlin Clark. They're not asking Caitlin Clark to be Ryan Howard. Every player has a defined role based on what they do best, and the coaching staff is experimenting with different combinations to see what works. Chelsea Gray is the only player who started every single game in this qualifying tournament. That tells you something about hierarchy and experience. But it also tells you that everyone else, including Clark, is being evaluated in different lineup configurations. Some people see that as disrespect. The coaching staff sees it as preparation.
More completely and totally cooked in that second shift. She was with Paige Beckers again, or in that second half, that is. She was with Paige Beckers again, and that's that backcourt of the future. They look so beautiful when they're playing together, because Paige is can score very fluidly and play within the rhythm and all that. So Caitlin had the ball here, drives in, swings it out to Paige. Pure. I mean, that's just what you want to see. There was even another play where Paige made a really nice move, got to her own shot, and scored. She had Caitlin on the corner too, so it's like a pick.
That second half is where Caitlin Clark reminded everyone why she's on this roster. When she got the ball more, when she controlled possessions, when she played with Paige Buchers in that backcourt of the future, the offense became completely unstoppable. And notice the defensive dilemma it creates. Paige Buchers can get to her spot and score efficiently. She proved that on multiple possessions. But she also had the option to kick it out to Clark on the perimeter. Pick your poison. Do you help off the shooter who can pull from 30 feet, or do you let Buchers operate one-on-one? That's the kind of lineup versatility that wins gold medals. Because when you get to the elimination rounds, when you face France or Spain with their size and experience, you need multiple ways to generate offense. You need players who can score off the ball and on the ball. You need shooters who relocate and cutters who move without the ball.
For these highlights, so I got to be careful here. So I'm just going to kind of still it. But Caitlin gets to the spot here. See the defense. They're all surrounding her. Step back. And connects on that too. And that those mid-range shots, those are the big ones. Like, for her really improving and taking her game to another level. That's one of the things, been pointed out forever, essentially, that's the thing that can, put her in the stratosphere. I also like the fact that she's been taking the ball to the bucket.
Look at that mid-range game, that step-back jumper with the entire defense collapsing on her. This is the shot that elevates Clark from great to elite. The three-point shooting gets all the attention. The passing generates the highlights. But that mid-range pull-up, that ability to get to her spot against a set defense, that's what opens up everything else. And here's why it matters for Team USA specifically. International basketball is more physical than the WNBA. The referees allow more contact. The three-point line is shorter, which means defenses can pack the paint more aggressively. You need players who can score in that 15-foot range when the perimeter is contested and the lane is clogged. Caitlin's been taking the ball to the basket more in these games too. That tells you her legs are back. Her confidence is back. After that grueling WNBA season that went straight into the playoffs with no break, she's finally playing with the explosiveness and decisiveness that made her a #1 pick.
Good chemistry. Game 2 was the only game where I thought that was really off, and the start of this game, maybe until Nate Tibbetts laid into them. But you look at the box score, and you got a lot of balanced scoring here. Kiki Iriafen with 9, 10 for Monique Billings, Jackie Young with 8. Jackie Young, who I'm a big fan of, has basically shot the ball every time she's touched it in this tournament. I'd like to see her spread it out a little bit more. Kalia Copper, I had that complaint about earlier in the tournament, didn't play today. I'm not sure the exact reason for that, but you had 10 points for Kelsey Plum, 9 for Angel Reese, 18 for Howard, 14 for Clark. Clark got a lot of those, 10 for Billings. Clark got a lot of those points in the second.
Game 2 was rough. The chemistry was off. The effort was questionable. But look at how this team responded. They didn't make excuses about back-to-back games or inferior competition. Nate Tibbetts held them accountable, and they came out and played the right way. That's the sign of a team that's coachable. That's the sign of a roster that's bought into the process even when individual egos and fan bases want to make everything about playing time and starting lineups. Jackie Young shot the ball every time she touched it in this tournament. That's a legitimate criticism. She's a talented player, but the shot selection hasn't been great. Kelsey Plum had 10 points, Angel Reese contributed 9, Ryan Howard led the team with 18, and Caitlin Clark put up 14 points, most of them in that second half when she took over.
Straight, and nobody can do anything about it because of her court vision and then the level of talent that she is indeed playing with. So without even having to, I don't want to say without trying, Caitlin's playing good defense, but without having to be extra about it, or monopolize the ball or any of that stuff, or the minutes starting, Caitlin Clark leading the team in points, assists, and plus minus. So To me, this should all be kumbaya. I get people in the comment section say, why are you always kumbaya about this? Because they're Team USA, playing together, playing well together, young and turnt crew going forward, and Caitlin Clark is playing well on a team that's winning with the other best players in the WNBA. What is there really?
So let's address the elephant in the room. The complaints about Caitlin Clark's usage. The outrage about her not starting every game. The conspiracy theories about veteran players holding her back, or coaches not respecting her impact. Here's what the numbers actually say. Caitlin Clark leads Team USA in points, assists, and plus-minus. She's doing that without monopolizing possessions. She's doing that while playing off the ball in lineups that don't maximize her strengths. She's doing that on a roster loaded with all-stars and former champions who all deserve touches. And she's doing it while getting better at the one skill that will determine whether she becomes a perennial all-star or a generational player who changes the sport. That off-ball movement, that ability to impact winning without controlling every possession, that willingness to make the extra pass and relocate for better shots. Team USA is experimenting. They're mixing and matching lineups. They're putting Clark in uncomfortable situations with players like Chelsea Gray who need the ball to be effective. And you know what? It's working. They're blowing out every opponent, the chemistry is improving, and Clark is still standing out on a team where standing out is nearly impossible because of the talent level. This is exactly what international competition should be. Not a showcase for one player, not a platform for individual statistics, but a laboratory for developing the complete game that wins championships. Watch how Caitlin orchestrates the offense when she's the primary ball handler. Nobody can stop it. The court vision is elite. The passing lanes she sees don't exist for other players. And with the talent level Team USA has, those passes turn into easy buckets every single time. But watch what happens when she plays off the ball. She's learning to relocate. She's learning to move without the ball. She's learning to use her shooting gravity to create space for teammates. Those are the skills that Stephanie White wanted to develop back in Indiana. Those are the skills that turn good teams into championship teams. So here's the reality that should make everyone happy. Caitlin Clark is dominating international competition while simultaneously getting better at the parts of her game that needed development. She's leading Team USA in the categories that matter most. She's doing it without starting every game or playing the most minutes, and she's doing it on a roster where everyone is a star and everyone deserves their moment. The complaints about her usage aren't coming from the coaching staff, they're not coming from her teammates. They're not even coming from Caitlin herself, who seems perfectly content with her role and her impact. The complaints are coming from fans who want individual glory to overshadow team success. But that's not how championship basketball works. That's not how Team USA wins gold medals. You need stars who can shine in different roles. You need players who can dominate with the ball and impact winning without it. You need egos that submit to the collective goal even when the individual statistics don't tell the whole story. Caitlin Clark is doing all of that. She's leading this team in the categories that predict winning. She's getting better at the skills that will define her career. And she's doing it while Team USA destroys every opponent they face. So what exactly is there to complain about? The starting lineup that doesn't matter when she plays 30 minutes anyway? The off-ball possessions that are literally making her a more complete player? The veteran presence of Chelsea Gray that's teaching her how to play winning basketball at the highest level. This is what development looks like for elite players. It's not always comfortable. It's not always pretty. It doesn't always generate the highlights that go viral on social media. But it works. And the proof is right there in the numbers. Points, assists, plus-minus. Leading the team in all three categories. Team USA has one more game in this qualifying tournament against Spain. Then they'll face tougher competition as they move toward the actual international championship. And when those games get tight, when the talent gap narrows, when every possession matters, Caitlin Clark will be ready. Not just because of her on-ball brilliance, but because of everything she's learning right now in these experimental lineups that people keep complaining about. So the question isn't whether Caitlin Clark should start or how many minutes she should play. The question is whether fans can appreciate the development process that's happening in real time. Because what we're watching isn't just Team USA winning games. It's Caitlin Clark becoming the complete player that will dominate international basketball for the next decade. And that's worth way more than any starting lineup designation or individual scoring title in a tournament where Team USA is winning by 30 points every game. Let me know in the comments if you think this usage is helping or hurting her development, because I genuinely want to know if people see what I'm seeing here.